Just always being creative. It's not a good day unless something's being created. My grandmother owned a fish and chip shop. I guess I was only 5 or 6. My sister and I would sit around in the fish and chip shop drawing on the white newsprint that we had reams and reams of. I started dabbling at university, painted a couple of backdrops for car dealerships and other bits and pieces. Forgot to charge them for it because I really enjoyed doing it, really. So self-taught. It was quite a journey. Ended up doing a degree in English education. Fine arts didn't work out for me. I saw things differently. I wasn't being true to myself. I just didn't get it, the contemporary thing. So I pulled the pin on that, played the guitar on the street and learnt more. When the $1 and $2 coins came in, I managed to pay my way through varsity, busking. Came back to Rotorua after I graduated, and there was that water tank, screaming for some love. And the view from the summit of Mount Tarawera, how appropriate. The gateway to our lakes. I identify with Tarawera. My earliest memories, I nearly lost my life up there, and some of the strangest things would happen, kayaking or boating across that lake. Council said no when I proposed the mural. So it took me 12 months to convince them that it was a good idea. And that's fine, they said, with provisos, and we won't pay you. That didn't bother me. It needed to be done. And that's where the hobby got out of control. I must have attracted a bit of attention to myself because then I was painting those power boxes throughout the CBD. And people would tap me on the shoulder when I'm sitting in the gutter painting and ask if, hey, could you paint our fridge, our fence? I was painting all sorts of things. And I was thinking, hey, I really like this lifestyle. I'm getting to traipse around all these places I love, photographing, sketching, and bringing them to life for everyone else to enjoy, and actually getting paid a little bit for it now. I never looked back from there. The boxes launched my career. Just one job led to another. I didn't have to advertise at all. It was word of mouth. 25 years. I was full-time painting murals, remembering to charge people as I went so that I could keep painting murals. But no, I brought up the family, freelance. It took me to various places in Australia and California, up and down the country. There was a lot of travelling and a lot of solitude, and I'd had enough of my own company. I wasn't actually looking for a job. My daughter was. She rang and said, Dad, I found a job. And she said, no, not for me, for you. I had a look at the job description and said, no. This has been written for me. Community Arts Advisor. So that's multidisciplinary, looking after our musicians, our writers, our painters, sculptors, creatives. Such a shock, a lifestyle change. I'd been a free man for 25 years. And here I am running up flights of stairs, clutching A4 paper. My friends gave me 3 weeks. But I'm glad I stuck it out. There were high expectations of me to make a difference to Rotorua when I got in the chair, but I had no budget. I recall being at the landfill picking up second-hand paint, so at least I could get some colour around the place. I introduced the Percent for Arts policy to council and says, if you want to see a change in the city, you have to invest in it. That means that we've got an understanding that 1% of capital budgets, annual capital budgets, gets put aside for public art, enhancing infrastructure. They do it all over Europe. I discovered it in the States. I worked for that over there. I was nervous as heck when I was pitching that to the council, and when I got signed off, it was a real coup. First time in New Zealand, and that's how we can have symposia, public art. We can look after our creatives. We can pay our musicians, our muralists, and other councils are jealous. It was an idea that my predecessor, Kerry Jarden, had, an arts trail somewhere around the village. Well, Sulphur Lake was the perfect candidate. It's exciting stuff. Who gets to build a sculpture trail? This role has worked so well is because I've had that street experience and I know how it is for artists. The world doesn't owe them a living. It's hard work. And it's my hometown. It's a privilege. I get thanked a lot by our creatives. And in my years of experience painting public murals, artworks, I've seen the difference it makes. They are not quantifiable differences, but there's an intrinsic raising of spirits, community pride, identity, vibrancy. The water tank on Tarawera Road is going strong 30 years later. Can you imagine what that would have looked like if we hadn't put a significant piece of art on there? Here's a community that's proud of its environment, willing to invest, and it's not a lot of money actually for a coat of paint. It's just putting it in the right place, really.